We hear about ADHD a lot, and it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as ADD, and the hyperactivity is left off. And really what it is it's a developmental diagnosis where the brain has a little bit of an imbalance. And so it shows up, particularly, we hear about it in our kids a lot, where there may be restlessness, there may be disorganization, there might be a high level of hyperactivity. A child might talk a lot. They might not be able to just simply settle, but we recognize that just as much as we see it in kids, we also know that ADHD is a part of our older youth and in our adult population. You know, sometimes our clues, and especially when we talk about little kids, it shows up in ways of, you know, the child might not be able to sit through, say, a half an hour presentation. Maybe they are not able to get out of bed on time. They're not organized. They're forgetting things everywhere. So I can speak from clients that I've worked with and clients that our agency serves. And Dr. Serrato, who is our chief medical officer, said to me one time, if a child is suffering for more than one day, they shouldn't be suffering when it comes to, I can't get my kid to get to school on time. It's a battle to get out the door. They're not focused. They're not able to stay organized. That's when we have to start to say, if the morning is a daily struggle and the daily struggles are happening on a consistent basis, there might be something more than just my child doesn't want to go to school. And when you seek them mental health professionals to have these conversations, then they can help you determine, is it ADHD? Is it anxiety? Is it a transition? But really being able to say, if it's consistently happening and we can't have more good mornings than we are having bad, it's a key and a sign that maybe we need to go seek some help. You know, at For All Seasons, we feel really strongly that therapy and psychiatry go together. And so while there may be folks who seek help through a pediatrician and they are able to prescribe medication for ADHD if it's needed, we also encourage there to be the talk therapy, because that's where you start to build the skills and tools to help you manage the ADHD symptoms. And so, you know, maybe it's about helping a child understand a little bit more about how to stay organized. Maybe it's giving the child skills and tools to be able to say, when you're distracted, when you've lost focus, here's how to get back on track. These are some of the things that not only do we want to instill in our kids, but we as adults need these tools too. Yeah, there's all different types of medications, and that's something where the psychiatry team, the pediatricians who consult with the psychiatrists are able to really make sure that the medication that they're prescribing meets the need of the children. Sometimes it's slow release, sometimes it's medication that can be taken at certain times. Some people have to take it every day. If you're prescribed every day, it's important to make sure that you stay consistent, because it can do more damage than it can be helpful. And so there are definitely different ways that we're able to prescribe. There's new medications, and it doesn't all just, it's not a one size fits all. It's really about what's going to work for that child. We certainly have better tools. There's more knowledge. We're talking about it more. You know, our young people are asking questions more than they ever have because of social media. So they're learning more earlier. We didn't know anything other than if a child was, you know, bouncing off the walls, that was definitely an ADHD kid. That's what was said in our day. Now we have more tools, we have more skills, we have more behavior modifications. There's more options in modalities in therapy to be able to really meet a child or an adult where they are. And one of the things that's really important is medication is not always going to be the answer. So there are different modalities that sometimes involve medication and sometimes don't. And that's where seeking professional mental health both in psychiatry and in therapy, gives us the opportunity to see what works best, A, for my system, B, for the behavior modification, or C, is it a combination of both? It will all be in questions that they're asking and experiences that people have. They're going to be looking at not just one piece of what's a presenting issue. The doctors are really going to be talking through, you know, has home life shifted? You know, how are people reacting to new situations? Maybe it's simply, we have one child that I was working with who was transitioning to college, and it was really just the new setting and the new people and not being home. And so it was, yes, a little bit of focusing issue, but also transition and the anxiety of being in a new place. You can reach out through For All Seasons open access process, and it's 5 days a week. You can telehealth or during select hours walk into our offices. You get your mental health assessment that day, and once the mental health assessment is complete and you're into the therapy process, then we can make a referral to our psychiatry team, who can also help and assist. We also work really closely with the pediatricians in town if it's children. If you have a general practitioner, you can start there as well. But we really encourage you to be having the conversations, to just do a check-in and make sure that you're not living with something that is easily treatable, so that you can be living the very best life.